You can do handcraft items, so you don't have to do hundreds of them. They don't have to be mass produced. You can make one version, one thing, and that also can be registered as a design. You can register a component part, so it doesn't have to be the whole of the article. It can just be an element of it. And again, you can register that as a design. And it's not limited. Whereas when you register a trademark, you tell us what of those 45 classes you intend to trade in. With a registered design, it allows you to trade in any area, any industry you want. 60 quid, as I said, for your first design, so not vastly expensive. £40 for any subsequent ones if you do them at the same time. Initially, they last for 5 years. Ultimately, they last for 25 years. Not like a trademark, which lasts forever. Okay, so after 25 years, anybody can use that shape. Unless you're pretty clever, and what you do is you build up reputation behind your design, and once it becomes that well known, you move it from a design over to a trademark, because it becomes a badge of origin. We know the product, we know what we're getting when we buy a product with that shape. Companies do get it wrong. Okay, if I were to say to you, who do you think makes jelly babies? Bassett's, yeah, Bassett's make them, as do Asda, Tesco's, anybody who wants to make them. Simply because it was a registered design, it ran its 25-year term, and they forgot to move it over to a trademark, which allowed anybody to jump in and make them. Okay, so again, you have got to be a bit careful about how you use the rights. So that's UK registration. Again, if you want to register overseas, very similar to a trademark, you have that Paris Convention allowing you to take your designs into separate countries. There is now a community design, very similar to the community trademark. It gives you the rights in all 27 countries. And if you want to take it further afield, your USAs, your Chinas, your Indias, there is now a thing called the Hague Agreement, which then allows you to do that as well. For Europe, you are looking at a fee of around 350 quid. Okay, so again, not vastly expensive for all 27 countries. So £60 UK, 350 for Europe. Up to you, you pay your money. So what is a patent? Well, the Patent Act will tell us that we will grant a patent for a technological innovation, but it doesn't define what an invention is. It does, however, give us 3 tests, and these tests are absolutely explicit. The first test is your invention has to be absolutely brand new when it enters our doors. When it lands on our doorstep, it can't have been shown, displayed, talked about to anyone before you file it, unless you've done it under a confidentiality agreement. If it's in the public domain, you're not going to get a patent for it. The second test, it must have an inventive step. It's got to take us beyond what is currently available. Now, you yourselves really should not decide whether or not your idea has an inventive step, because what you think is obvious, i.e. we work in this technology, it'd be obvious to do that. From our point at the office, it probably wouldn't be obvious. To a layperson, we'd think, actually, no, there is something there inventive. Okay? And the last but not least test, it's got to do something. It's got to have a technical effect. That is where often software falls over, because you cannot show that your software has a technical effect. Okay? It's a myth to say you cannot patent software, because you can, but strictly speaking, you can't patent software. What you patent is a computer-implemented invention. Your software enables something to happen, gives a technical effect, and that's what you're patenting. Okay? So you can patent it. So they're the 3 tests. You overcome those 3 tests, we will grant you a patent. The process, if you are unaware, is you fill in what we call a specification. Specification is really a number of documents. It's those documents there, which is a description. Okay, what's gone before, why yours is different, how yours does what it does. That's your description. Drawings, as you've seen there with that lovely lid of the jar, that helps us to understand what it does. Claims, now they're the most important part, because that's what you're claiming to be your invention. That's what gives you the territory. It gives you, you're putting plots out to say nobody can trespass on this area of business, because this is what we're claiming to be our invention. And last but not least, an abstract, which is basically a summary of the idea in less than 150 words. So you draft that, you send that through our doors, you fill in an application form telling us who's applying for it, and if you're not the inventor, how you gain those rights from the inventor to apply. We send you back a filing receipt, a filing date and a filing number. Okay, that is when you will see patent applied for. They've applied, they've had their filing receipt back, they have 12 months to do what they want to do with their idea. There is no fee, it's free to file. Okay, we charge nothing for you to get to that stage. Free to file. Within 12 months of your application date, you need to request a search for us to go backwards in time to see if we can find your idea anywhere. Okay, and we are very, very, very good at searching. We do charge for that. We charge you £130. Now, if you are serious about filing patents, you have that done fairly early. You do have 12 months to do it, but it takes us around 3 to 4 months to prepare and perform that search for you. If you're serious, you have it done fairly quickly because you'll get the results back and you then know whether or not your idea is going to go on to be patented. And in which case you can decide, okay, it's not just the UK we want to take it now further afield. USA, China, wherever you want to take it. So if you're serious, you have that done, £130 fairly early in the process. So we do that novelty search, we send you the report. On the strengths of that report, you can either withdraw your application, allow it to lapse by not doing anything else, but if all the formal processes are complete, you filled in your forms, your names, etc., we publish it. It's a myth to say that patents are secret. They are not. At 18 months, providing all the formal requirements are met, it goes forward and it is published unless you have withdrawn it. The whole wide world is going to see exactly what you're up to. Okay? And that's the same for small companies and big companies. If you want to see what Apple's next big invention is going to be, if you log on again to our website, do a search on Apple, you'll actually see what's being published and they're going to bring to the marketplace soon.